News W5.
She had the most beautiful blue eyes I've ever seen on anybody.
The search for perfect vision brings relentless pain
It's been almost 6 weeks of hell.
and proves too much to bear.
This procedure absolutely caused her depression.
Avis Favreau
Those eyes are not normal.
No.
investigates the tragic consequence of eye surgery gone wrong and how a rare and painful condition
If left untreated, it's worse than being dead.
led to a tragic end.
She had it. 8 weeks later, she was gone.
And huge crowds, non-stop action. This is no ordinary game.
They like to see their teams win.
And these are not your regular players.
Video games is a $100 billion industry.
Peter Ackman
Wow. Are e-gamers real athletes?
100%.
explores the new breed of elite athletes
The audience is almost at 500 million people.
as top schools recruit top-tier competitors
To get a full ride scholarship, you do have to be good at the game.
to take gaming into the future.
I get to play video games as an actual job.
Here is Kevin Newman.
Hello, and thanks for joining us. If you're considering laser eye surgery, you may want to pay close attention because CTV's medical specialist, Avis Favreau, is continuing her groundbreaking reporting on a rare complication from the procedure. A complication so severe, the consequences can be devastating.
She was my wife. She was my soulmate. She was the love of my life.
Dan Rose is convinced laser eye surgery cost him his wife. Jessica Starr, devoted mother to Noah and Riley.
We're on the carousel.
Described as happy-go-lucky, gone by her own hand, unable to cope with the complications.
This procedure definitely was a catalyst that drove her into the depression that led to her suicide.
Jessica's mother, Carol, and her brother, Ryan, struggle with their own questions and terrible grief.
There was nothing else in her life until this procedure happened.
That was the one thing that changed her from what she was to what she became.
Good morning. We're tracking showers and storms.
Jessica was living a picture-perfect life with a dream job as a meteorologist at Fox News in Detroit.
We're going to have lots of sunshine throughout the daytime today.
And one of her striking features were her eyes.
She had the most beautiful blue eyes I've ever seen on anybody. Everyone that met her will tell you that. She had a very unique color of blue. It was her. I mean, it was like you were directly looking into her soul when you saw her.
Since she was a child, Jessica had worn glasses, or later contacts to correct her nearsightedness. But a fall down the stairs in the dark prompted her to get laser eye surgery.
She just looked at me and she said, everybody does this. This is such a common procedure. It's so easy. Why haven't I done this yet? Why haven't I gotten this LASIK procedure?
Laser vision correction is one of the most popular elective treatments in the world. Studies show the overwhelming majority of people report they're happy with the outcome, with countless testimonials posted online.
Contact solution, bye-bye. Ridiculously expensive glasses, not anymore.
I could see the 20/20 line perfect. So it went from horrible to I could see it crystal clear.
Dan says the eye doctor declared Jessica a perfect candidate. In fact, he sold her on a newer version called Smile. That's where doctors use a laser to create a disc within the cornea. And then a small cut in the surface allows them to remove this excess tissue. The result is similar to most laser eye procedures for nearsightedness, a flattened cornea and sharper vision. Jessica had the procedure October 11th, 2018, but things didn't go as hoped.
When did you notice there was a problem?
I would say within 3 to 4 days of having the procedure, Jessica really started to, I would describe it as panic. She was complaining that her eyes were actually getting so dry that they were sticking to her eyelids.
In the days that followed, Jessica began documenting her recovery, which her doctor said was supposed to take about 5 days. This is her video on October 24th, day 13 post-laser eye treatment.
I'm trying to stay positive. It's been a little bit of a slow go, So let's just start with today. I'm still using drops. These things, these tears, artificial tears, probably about every 5 minutes, still 2 to 5 minutes.
Jessica's vision was now 20/20, but she had trouble seeing at night, was very sensitive to light, and had pain. This is her video from November the 1st.
It's not consistent, the vision. I'll have like 2 good days in a row and then kind of actually 2 bad days in a row. Still using a ton of drops.
Doctors say that problems like dryness, glare, and light sensitivity are common but temporary.
So I'm doing everything necessary that the doctor has prescribed for me. I just have to be patient. I'm glad I took another week off work. I'm really hoping I don't need to take another week off work. I want to just get back to my normal life. And right now I'm not living my normal life. It's hard to see, and I don't know.
She tried to go back to work 4 weeks after the procedure.
I'm still recovering,
but was painfully sensitive to the bright lights.
Hi guys, it is Tuesday, November 13th. I am back, but I'm still struggling a little bit. Anywho, I do have a question for all the people out there though who, if you've had LASIK surgery, if you have any tips or input on any of that kind of stuff, let me know, I'd appreciate it, because I'm trying to stay strong and get through this recovery.
What happened when she did go back to the doctor who performed the procedure to say, I'm having problems?
She indicated to me that she felt like he was annoyed. She felt that he was downplaying her symptoms. He also just kept extending the recovery time. So at first it was, well, it's going to be 5 days to a week. Then it was, well, it could be 2 weeks. Well, it could be 2 months. Well, some people have problems 6 months to 12 months down the road.
Did they tell her her eyes looked normal?
She had probably 4 to 5 second opinions after going to the doctor that she went to for the procedure. All of them said the same thing. They looked at the cornea and the incision and said the incision is healing. It looks good.
Did she feel dismissed?
She said to me at one point, she said, I feel like I'm crazy. I feel like no one believes me.
As the days passed, her family struggled to understand what was happening to her.
I kept saying, well, tell me how it looks. If I was looking through your eyes right now, what would you see? What can you tell me you see? And she couldn't even articulate. She just said, I don't know, I can't even explain it. It's just my eyes and my brain aren't connecting, Mom.
She just seemed really withdrawn. She looked like she had lost a lot of weight. She said she wasn't sleeping well, wasn't eating well. So that's when I really could see the change.
Today is Monday, November 19th.
This is one of her last videos.
I don't know, it's just real hazy. It's just still really hazy. I mean, I can see, but I can't see, and it's been almost 6 weeks of hell. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
And Jessica expresses regret for having the surgery.
I'm really mad at myself for doing this. I don't know why. I was fine in contacts. Glasses weren't that big of a deal. It was fine.
All I can say about Jessica's state of mind before this procedure was there was no depression. Jessica never took an antidepressant in her life. This procedure absolutely caused her depression.
But no one realized how severe her depression was, and Jessica took her life 13 days before Christmas. She was 35. And she left an emotional 30-page suicide note. I can't believe this, she wrote. I made one bad decision that took my life from me. I can't go on without my vision. I feel this is the only way out of my pain with my eyes.
And I'll never forget the whole scene, just the way the police officer opened the car door. He walked up and he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but your wife is deceased. And I just fell. I literally fell on my garage floor. I started screaming. I couldn't breathe. And this police officer actually got down on the garage floor with me and laid with me and held me. And I don't really know what happened after that. I feel like I just kind of went black.
Her death became big news in the US and around the world. Meanwhile, her family had no doubt what drove her to this decision.
I knew right away what it was, and it just was confirmed when I read through all of the notes that were left behind. It was just the same thing over and over about the eyes and the surgery.
She loved her job, she loved her coworkers, they loved her. And the only thing we can say was, what was the one thing that changed? It was the eye surgery. She had it, 8 weeks later, she was gone. What would you think?
We asked the group representing laser eye surgeons for an interview about the questions raised by Jessica's story. Officials sent us this statement. We are saddened about Jessica Starr's death and convey our sympathy to her family and friends. However, there is no clinical evidence linking suicide to laser vision correction surgery. But there is at least one confirmed death by suicide linked to corrective eye surgery in the scientific archives. And patient advocacy groups report nearly 24 others, including that of Canadian Paul Fitzpatrick. Just 2 months before Jessica's death, Paul took his life near Hamilton, Ontario, leaving behind a grieving family.
It's unfathomable. You don't imagine.
A self-made millionaire, Paul had a slightly different laser eye procedure called PRK in 1996. His parents, Christine and Jean, said he started experiencing problems.
1 year later, double vision, really severe headaches, sometimes a ghosting, and he was unable to read. He was unable to read a newspaper, a magazine, and he was an avid reader. He searched everywhere. He left no stone unturned.
Paul spent over 20 years searching for relief.
A whole container of just files of every surgeon he'd seen, every test he'd had for his eyes.
His family has kept boxes of glasses and all his research as he tried yet more laser treatments to ease the severe dryness. His brother Kevin says Paul was so sensitive to light, he wore sunglasses indoors.
The burning pain in his eyes, the needles in his eyes, that was the kind of, that's how he described the pain.
He just said that it was excruciating.
On October 6, 2018, Paul Fitzpatrick took his life and also left a suicide note. Just the pain of burning eyes, he wrote. Please forgive me for not being strong enough to cope.
I think he had no choice. He couldn't live the way it was.
And the family also lays blame on his laser eye correction surgery, even listing it in his obituary.
Having known what Paul has gone through, he would expect us to tell his story.
Searching for the source of pain.
Every single doctor she
More than 63 million people around the world have had their vision corrected with laser eye surgery like LASIK or PRK. And for the vast majority, it sharpens eyesight without long-term complications,
I can see the 20/20 line perfect.
eliminating the need for glasses and contacts. But some patients are coming forward saying they're dealing with rare, life-altering side effects, severely dry eyes, light sensitivity, and pain, and are unable to find help. 2 recently ended their lives by suicide, like Canadian businessman Paul Fitzpatrick, who died in the fall of 2018, his mother, Christine.
I think he had no choice. He couldn't live the way it was.
And Detroit meteorologist Jessica Starr, who died 2 months later. Dan Rose is her husband.
She truly believed she had a perfect life, and she did. And she felt like this procedure had taken everything away.
Their deaths come as patient support groups collect stories of intense pain, headaches, and dry eyes from post-laser vision correction patients. People who are told their eyes look normal, yet they suffer complications.
The mystery of what's happening to these post-eye laser surgery patients is being studied here at Tufts Medical Center in Boston, where scientists have been taking a much closer look at these so-called normal eyes and have found something that surprises them.
Dr. Pedram Hamra is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist.
What did you start finding, and did it worry you or surprise you?
I started to see that these patients have either, most of the times, nerve abnormalities, and to some level also increased inflammation in their tissue as well.
He's treating a growing number of people turning up at his clinic with complications caused by eye surgery.
When they came to you, what kind of condition were they in?
Either just dryness when it's mild, it can be burning, and then when it gets more severe, it's actually sharp pain, severe light sensitivity to a point that they can't leave their houses, or excruciating pain to the point that may be suicidal even.
Dr. Hamra and other researchers are now using a high-powered device called a confocal microscope, finding signs of damage from nerves that have been cut or injured.
Those eyes are not normal.
No. Microscopically they're not, but they look normal on exam.
This is a normal eye. Those feathery white lines are healthy nerves. In this post-LASIK patient, they're virtually gone.
Because you're cutting into the tissue, you've amputated the nerves. And usually in a normal patient, they'll regenerate, but in his case, they didn't.
In other cases, these amputated nerves try to regrow, but some end up deformed.
These are nerves that you have, and you have nerves that come and they stop, right? And these are nerves that can't regenerate properly. And initially they form like a small ball, but some of them will form these bigger balls.
The problems now being diagnosed in many people after vision correction surgery is a syndrome called corneal neuralgia, triggered by damage to the nerves in the eye.
So when we started looking at these patients who have eye pain, neuropathic pain, corneal neuralgia, we found that every single patient who has this also shows these nerve abnormalities.
And it's helping doctors diagnose patients like Paul Siegel. He had LASIK in 2004 and said he was left with severely dry eyes, blurry vision, and chronic pain. He, too, has contemplated suicide.
I know that the odds against it are very high, but if left untreated, it's worse than being dead. Literally, you're blind and you're at the peak of pain.
He was also told his eyes appeared to be fine.
They put it back on me, essentially. They told me that I was either crazy or overreacting, or, you know, I need to adjust my expectations for life.
And it was a relief, he says, to get a name for his condition. Remember the painful dry eyes Jessica Starr complained about?
I'm still using drops. These things, these tears, artificial tears, probably about every 5 minutes, still 2 to 5 minutes.
That, doctors say, is a key symptom of corneal neuralgia. Her husband suspects she may have had it too and was never diagnosed.
Did anyone ever use the word corneal neuralgia?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
And nobody ever said, go see a specialist for this newer recognized condition?
No. Every single doctor she went to said everything looks fine.
Ryan Starr is Jessica's brother.
All they did was tell her, put your eye drops on, go home, you have 20/20 vision.
You're angry?
I am angry because this was a procedure that was supposed to improve her life. And yes, it gave her 20/20 vision, but it created a whole host of other issues. And they're creating problems they don't know how to solve.
Here in Brandon, Manitoba, is Dr. Guillermo Rocha, an ophthalmologist and former president of the Canadian Ophthalmological Society. He says corneal neuralgia is a new condition that doctors rarely see.
Specifically talking about corneal neuralgia, it is an extremely rare complication. In many of the FDA trials, it was never mentioned. A general incidence could be considered about 1 in 10,000 cases, which is extremely low.
laser vision correction, he says, remains, for the majority of patients, safe and effective.
Globally, there are over 63 million procedures that have been done with a 99% success rate, and with implications for job, for the military, for first responders, and even for people like you and me who just want to be more independent from glasses. So the procedure itself works. However, as with any surgical procedure, there are risks and there are benefits.
But Jessica's family says there doesn't appear to be a way to help those who do suffer those rare risks.
I'm just trying to stay positive right now. I'm trying to say some affirmations and some prayers.
If you want to focus on the majority of people that are having success with this procedure, I think your focus is probably in the wrong place. They don't need any follow-up or help. They had a successful procedure, but what about the people who don't have a successful procedure? What are they supposed to do?
There are, in fact, treatments being developed for corneal neuralgia. Eye drops made from the patient's own blood that may help regrow damaged nerves in the eyes. Contact lenses made from a human placenta to protect the sensitive eye surface.
We're going to do the exact same thing for the left eye.
And scleral lenses filled with fluid that lessen pain and dryness. Back in Boston, Dr. Hamra is doing research showing that patients with corneal neuralgia can improve if they're diagnosed and treated quickly.
I think, yes, we can treat this problem. The sooner we see these patients, the faster they get better.
A message echoed by the family of Jessica Starr.
We want to create an awareness.
Because Jessica was in the media, now we have an opportunity to give all these people a voice and to let them be heard, because they're suffering.
What do you want her legacy to be?
I'd like to see the doctors, first and foremost, be more forthcoming with the complications that can arise. I know if she did not have the procedure, she'd still be here.
Well, there is still a lot of research to be done to better identify the nerve complications, and Dr. Hamra has launched a study of 1,000 laser eye surgery patients to try to get to the bottom of it.